Ajax are one of the biggest clubs known for developing youth talent in the whole entire world. But what would happen if there was a transfer ban? They could no longer sign any players, and every single player used in this save is going to have to come from the youth academy until we win a Champions League. Well, that's a task I'm going to be doing today, showing you exactly how to grow your very best wonder kids that come through your youth academy and how to build a tactic good enough for them to win the Champions League. It sounds like an impossible task with the Dutch league growing ever better. The likes of PSV, Feyenoord, Alkmaar, FC24 all finishing above Ajax this season. It is going to be tough, but welcome to rebuilding Ajax using the youth academy only. And when you look through the team without just separating it into youth only, it's quite a good side. Players like Steven Bergwijn, Steven Berghuis, Jordan Henderson, Owen Windau, Josip Sotalo, even Francisco Coensao, all here at the club. And if you were to put them in the team, well, you should probably end up winning the Eredivisie. But what if you took them all away? Well, you'd end up with a 4-3-3 with Tommy Stepford in goal, Devin Wrench at right back, Silvino Vos filling in at centre-back, even though he's a midfielder. Jarell Harto, Gouzier, Kian Fitz, Jim, Van Den Boomen, who is a fantastic purchase they made just 12 months ago from Toulouse. Trained at Ajax, so he counts. Kenneth Taylor in midfield as well, so a fantastic duo in there. Jaden Bano at right wing, Nashi Univar coming back off his loan on that left wing, and Brian Broby up front. Now, we are playing a very nice 4-3-3 system here with an inverted fullback, inverted wing backs, players moving all over the place, using that high press but short tiki-taka passing Johan Cruyff way that he would love Ajax to play. And obviously, over the years, this team will get better. The best way to develop the wonder kids coming out of your academy is to give them more and more game time. If they play more games, they will get better. And as we saw this by our team, most of them have that 5-star potential. Our two midfielders, we're going to be set for a good 3 or 4 years with. And as we head down onto the bench, etc., again, players like Gabriel Missenhoy are going to be fantastic. Ethan Butera, David Kolko, Van Axel Dongen, Mika Gotts, Mark Verquij. There is so many players here. There's just too many to name. This is everyone that has good potential here at Ajax to kick things off. Obviously, we are going to get some more wonder kids come through at 4.5-star youth recruitment, 3.5-star training facilities, and 4.5-star training facilities means, of course, these players are going to grow. We have got a lot of players to go and sell, so over the next 3 or 4 years, that will be my goal. Not a single one of them will touch the field. They will be getting sold as fast and as well as possible. So this finances thing here, that's going to grow a hell of a lot until we get to the point where we've won a Champions League by just using our youth academy. So no signings at all, not even under 18s from Brazil coming in. This is a pure youth academy only rebuild. So I suppose let's get into season number 1. Well, this season, even with all them sales, we were still predicted to finish in 3rd place and keeping Champions League football. Was that going to be possible? With the start to this season, losing to Hercules and Almere, I'm not quite sure Champions League football is going to be possible, as they are 2 of the worst teams in the league. Luckily, we bounced back with a victory over FC24, but drew against Go Ahead Eagles and NEC. A frankly shocking start in Ajax's position. We did go 3 games winning in a row though against Utrecht, Willem and Pek Zwolle, drew to De Graafschap and beat Helmond and Sparta Rotterdam. But when we faced the big boys in Feyenoord and PSV, we lost both of them, both conceding 3 goals, 3-1 against Feyenoord and 3-0 against PSV. But the youngsters were starting to settle in to their new roles. We beat Fortuna Sittard, beat RKC Waalwijk, beat AZ Alkmaar, drew to SC Heerenveen and beat Almere City to leave it only 4 losses in the first half of the season, and 2 of them coming up against our league rivals. And well, you're probably thinking, of course, we've got Europa League football as well. Well, we actually had to qualify and we lost the games. So we're not even in the Europa League group phase. That probably just shows how bad this team was. We lost to Brøndby. We beat them 2-1 in game 1 and lost 2-0 in game 2. That's pretty shocking. And well, things weren't much better in the Dutch Cup either, as we were 1-0 losers against AZ Alkmaar. So quite simply, our only chance for trophies in season number 1 was going to be the Eredivisie, and we'd have to go on quite the ridiculous run to make that happen. Well, we beat Hercules and lost to FC24, but then we did go on quite a fantastic run, especially given we are youth only. We beat Go Ahead Eagles, beat NEC, beat Utrecht in a fantastic month of February, went unbeaten in March of 3 victories and 1 draw, and then in April we beat Sparta Rotterdam, drew 1-1 to Feyenoord, beat PSV 2-1 thanks to a brace from Nashi Univar, beat Fortuna Sittard, beat RKC, and beat AZ Alkmaar, and beat SC Hervening. Now we must be thinking, we must be close to the title then. What a fantastic run to the end of the season. Well, as mentioned, the Eredivisie is getting stronger, and that only leaves us in 3rd place. 4 points away from Ajax and 11 points away from final. But given this season has been a complete clear out of everyone that is not developed through the Ajax Youth Academy system, I really don't think that's too bad. And in terms of the actual squad as well, it has done absolute wonders for some of these players. Our standout performers this season: Van den Boomen, 11 goals and 8 assists. But the likes of Brian Broby, 25 goals and 34 starts. Jarell Harto becoming the main player here at Ajax, 4-star current ability, 37 games, 3 goals and 6 assists. Silvinho Boss moving into DM, 6 goals and 3 assists. Jaden Bannell, I've never even heard of this guy. 10 goals, 10 assists, a fantastic season. Nashi Univar back from his loan spell last season where he was out on loan at FC Twente as he struggled to get into the Ajax team. This year, he's been given that starting berth. 11 goals, 10 assists, a 7.06. And look at the progression. We are going to check out a few of these players as we go through and seeing how they progress throughout the rest of the whole save. Devin Wrench is a superstar. Christian Rasmussen played a few games as well. Tristan Gougia has been rushed in to the team. He's done very well as well as an attacking right back. Very, very good indeed. Ivan Batera, our best centre back at the club. David Calico also doing bits. But majority of the goals coming from that man, Brian Broby, who is not going to be leaving the club. Honestly, throughout this rebuild, a lot of players are going to get offers. I'm going to do my absolute hardest to reject absolutely everything. We are doing this youth only. If I was to go and sell our best players, I would only make it 1,000 times harder. So I'm flat out refusing 90% of offers which come through, which yes is a little bit unrealistic, but it's the best way I could do it, of giving us a fighting chance of winning the Champions League at some point. This youth intake, absolutely rubbish. Our best player is a 4-star. That's not the greatest way to kick things off. Now, obviously, there is no transfer window, so we're going to just pretty much fly straight in to the next season every single time. So let's get into season 2, and of course, this time we're in the Champions League, so hopefully we can do bits in that. The only thing I will show you is the outgoings, and no one of mention from the academy has left the club, which is great news. A few people have left, raising £21 million there and £51 million in there as well, and the finances, they're already starting to look very, very good. And so did our start to this Eredivisie season, with victories all through the month of August, 4 in a row, and 3 victories and 1 draw in the month of September. And we even went on to make it 10 unbeaten, 9 victories and 1 draw. What a stark contrast to last season. But things started to come tumbling down with 2 losses and a draw in our next 3 games, and one of them was up against PSV and the draw was up against Feyenoord, so still not quite managing to battle against our major rivals for the title. We did beat AZ Alkmaar, drew to Pexvoll to finish off the month of November, and in December 2 victories and just the 1 draw. And well, for the first half of the season, it was this man again, Brian Broby, just absolutely carrying the team and becoming honestly one of the best strikers I have seen on FM pretty much ever. He is bagging goals at a ridiculous rate. He is absolutely fantastic for this level and has even made his Dutch debut. And well, of course, we were now into the Champions League as well, and to kick things off, we beat Napoli 3-1. Lost to PSG 3-0, but then beat Atletico Madrid and RSC Anderlecht. We did lose to Porto and Liverpool, but beat Braga and SK Austria Vienna to finish us 11th in the league phase, and an incredibly impressive first season in the Champions League. Comment down below on what season you think we will win the Champions League. No skipping to the end and cheating. Tell me now in the comments right now where you think we have finished this rebuild and what season we ended up lifting that Champions League trophy. Because I'm going to be honest with you right now, it's not going to be in this season. Season number 2, of course, as we lost to Young Boys in the knockout playoff round 3-1 on aggregate. So we've got a long way to go. And well, it was certainly a much better showing in terms of the Dutch Cup, as we managed to fire ourselves all the way into the semi-finals before facing up against the rivals final yet again. Now, I wanted to show you this video because, well, this game, because again, just showing how far away we are from the top two teams here in the Eredivisie. It has certainly grown, and it was only a 2-1 loss. So when you look through some of the players in our team, we are doing it the right way, the Ajax way, developing the youth academy. But sadly, no Dutch Cup in this one as well. And with our fantastic start to the season, there was still a chance of the Eredivisie. And that chance just looked stronger and stronger as we were simply fantastic for the month of January, unbeaten in February and unbeaten in March with 4 wins and just 1 draw. And the run of form from the middle of November to the end of March with no losses and just 4 draws was simply fantastic. But that was all to again come crumbling down as we faced up against Feyenoord and lost 1-0, to face up against PSV and draw 1-1. We did beat AZ Alkmaar, but then drew against Pekshwal, drew against NEC and beat Almere City. And believe it or not, we were actually quite far away from the top of the table. Again, 75 points, the same as last season, 6 away from Feyenoord and 12 away from PSV. It feels like it's going to be an absolute mammoth task to not only win the Champions League, but to overtake PSV and Feyenoord. I feel like that season we were brilliant. Honestly, too much draws with 9 draws. The rest of them only 6 and 3. We all lost just 3 games. But this whole thing about, you know, winning the title, it's not going to be easy. This is going to take quite a while to even build ourselves back to the top of Dutch football. Obviously, we've given these Wonder Kids obviously all the game time we are. It's going to be, you know, nice to see the team when it does progress into that. Tommy Stepford as our starting goalkeeper now with 8.5 million. Tristan Gouzier, Devin Wrench, Ethan Butera, Jarell Harto as that inverted fullback has been fantastic. Silvinho Vos, Branko van Boomen, Kenneth Taylor, Jaden Bannell, another fantastic season. Nashi Univar and Brian Broby. And of course, so many players coming through. The amount of 5-star Wonder Kid potential here is just an absolute joke. Gabriel Misanoy, Silvinho Vos and Sky Vink all yet to even really enter the fray. Ryan Bundia as well. And our first proper good regen coming through is Luke Brouwer, a 16-year-old Dutch centre-back, 16 determination, 17 bravery and 17 tackling. Now, the best way to develop Wonder Kids that come through the academy or just in general is bring them up into the first team, because they'll be training in better training facilities, as we have now got that upgraded to 5-star, and training with better players. But of course, you want them to have game time. So make them available to play in the team you see fit. If you think that's the B squad, put them in there. Under 18s, put him in there. For someone with this level of potential, I would make him available for the B team if I learn how to click the right buttons. And he will not only develop by sort of training with the best players here at the squad, but he will also go and get that all-important non-competitive game time, and it will really get him used to playing football at a better level. You can see he's filled in at young Ajax once, but get him available there. He should go next season, play 30 plus games, and then hopefully build him up to a 2-star, 2.5-star ability and be ready for first team football. That is my #1 tip on developing players through the youth academy. Finances wise, things are looking absolutely lovely as well. Let's get in voters season number 3 and see if we can finally lift ourselves our first trophy. The Dutch Cup would be great, the Eredivisie will be great, and I tell you what, the Champions League one day will be great, but I think it's going to take quite some time. And what if we learned anything from last season at all, it was that you couldn't have a bad start to the league. So losing 2-1 to Sparta Rotterdam instantly put our title hopes to a dent, but beating Feyenoord 1-0 brought them quickly back to life as we then beat NEC, Willem, AZ and Hercules in a great run of form. Drew to Almere and Den Haag, so them draws still not quite going away, beating Excelsior and Utrecht and then losing to PSV. We then beat Emmen, Go Ahead Eagles, Vitesse, but finished off November with another drop points against Fortuna Sittard and a loss to Pekshwal, beating RK Valevich, doing the double over Feyenoord and then drawing again to Sparta Rotterdam. Just too many draws for us to possibly win the Dutch Cup. Well, speaking of the Dutch Cup, we do manage to get to the semi-final yet again, and in the 88th minute, after a ping-pong in the box, Brian Broby finishes to make it 1-0, and just 30 seconds later, Van Dongen finds him yet again to make it 2-0. And that took us all the way to the final, where we beat Excelsior on penalties and lifted our very first trophy here in charge of Ajax. The Dutch Cup has come back in terms of past winners. The last time they actually won this was 2021. So 6 years away, we have finally lifted the Dutch Cup yet again. And before we get into the Champions League, we'll finish off this Eredivisie season because based on the first half of that season, I don't think we're going to win the league, and that's going to sort of stay true here. We did beat NEC, Willem, lost to AZ, beat Hercules 8-1, went on a decent run of form, lost 1-0 to Utrecht, lost 4-0 to PSV, won a couple of games, and then finished the season losing 3 and drawing 1. And in terms of how the Eredivisie finished up, we third place again. Our lowest points tally by quite some distance on 63. This time having 9 losses instead of 9 draws, just 6 draws and only 19 wins. Close to dropping out of Champions League contention. That's not a good look. I was hoping every season would be progression. This season looks like regression, which is very, very frustrating. How do we get on the Champions League though? Very, very similar. League phase, 24th. We just about snuck through. 3 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses when we were going to the knockout playoff round yet again. And this time, rather than Young Boys, it was going to be Copenhagen staying in our way. Ethan Patera found Van den Boomen to find Ryan Bundia to make it 1-0 in 46 minutes. And in this first leg, we grabbed a second at home thanks to a goal from Jaden Bannell. And with the second leg did finish in just a 1-0 loss, but we were through in 2-1 on aggregate. Just up next was a little club called Liverpool in the round of 16. And well, yeah, a 2-0 loss at home, 2 injuries as well to 2 of our star players. And a 1-0 loss away from home at Anfield meant we were crashing out of the Champions League, but it was progression. Last season, knockout playoff round, this season, round of 16. But overall, a little bit of a disappointing season. We have got our first piece of silverware, but we feel like we've let ourselves down in these 2 competitions. One thing that's certainly not letting us down though is our youth academy. This season we locked in Ramiel Banduya to the right wing, Gabriel Missenhoy to right centre mid, and Silvini Vos in DM to get them into the team and get them some more gameplay. And it certainly worked, increasing their current ability and their potential sticking at a much higher level. We have got some more players coming through. Mike van der Gag to make an incredible centre-back partnership. And we've got Claude Bigramana, who potentially could be a fantastic left winger. Murahim Kragos to be a potentially very good DM as well. So the academy is growing ever stronger, of course. Goal scorers wise, Brian Brobby and Nashi Univar. Nashi Univar I have never used on this game. I've now got him to a value of £60 million by just playing him for 89 games over 3 seasons. He's now got 16 dribbling, 16 first touch, 16 flair. And when we actually look at his progression from the very start of things, he has gone up 1s and 2s, the old Russ Cook, in many of his stats and is looking absolutely brilliant. So if you do want to go and get yourself a very cheap winger at the very start, Nashi Univar can turn into an absolute demon off that left-hand side. And he's not the only one as well, of course, because this youth academy is simply brilliant. Gerald Harto, Kenneth Taylor, Devin Wrench, Brian Broby, Ethan Patera is progressing very nicely now. Jaden Bannell, Voss, Missenhoy, Branko van der Boomen, Lucas Yetten is coming in as a very good left-back. Tommy Stepford in goal, a 7.08 average rating. I really didn't think this guy would be good enough, but again, just by giving him all of this game time, he is progressing very, very nicely. 2s, 1s and 3s in this, even a 4 there in decision making. Gameplay can be everything to get one of the kids you don't quite think are going to be good enough to being actually top level players. This guy is also extremely consistent, so actually playing him so much has made him more consistent. It has made his stats much better and has made him the Ajax #1, conceding just 81 goals in 89 games over 3 seasons, starting out as an 18-year-old. That's pretty damn impressive. Obviously as well, still trying to sell a few players, but there is also someone in here that looks quite good. We have had an absolute superstar come through the academy. This man is 15 years of age. He's got a value of £25 million. His name is Sefa Kadaglan. He has 16 finishing, 16 pace, 10 composure, 15 determination, 14 stamina. This guy is probably the best player I've ever seen come directly out of a youth academy. 15 years of age, perfectionist personality. And I know people are going to think I'm using the editor and all that malarkey. I can quite simply show you here on the game status. The in-game editor isn't even allowed. This guy is newly here. He's brand new. It's Sefa Karagan, and he's going to be here to take Ajax to the very top. When Brian Broby gets to, 28, 29 years of age, this guy will be going 18, 19. That sounds perfect to me. I'm looking forward to seeing how Sefa can progress here at Ajax. Let's get into Season 4. And well, yet again, to start the season off, we showed that we were up and down on form, beating Zwolle, drawing to Hervening, beating Sparta Rotterdam, drawing to Feyenoord, and then winning 3 games in a row without conceding a single goal. 7 games unbeaten, 5 wins and 2 draws. Had us sitting pretty at the top of the table. We then did lose to NEC, but went another 3-game winning streak. We then lost to AZ Alkmaar, beat Den Haag, lost to Utrecht, beat Vitesse, lost to Twente, beat PSV for the first time, and then lost to SC Hervening again. It seems like we're finally starting to beat the bigger squads, but then losing to random little teams. And then in January, I decided to bring in that 15-year-old prodigy, Sefa Karagan, and boy, am I happy I did. In this, his very first start for the club at the start of January, he went ahead and grabbed a goal in just 9 minutes, putting it past Schneider in goal. And just 20 minutes later, after Silvino Voss found a great ball at the top to Devin Wrench, a first-time ball in, a sideways volley across the goalkeeper, I knew we had an absolute superstar on our hands. And from there, he kept scoring and we kept winning. We beat Sparta, Feyenoord, De Graafschap, Almere, Valajik, NEC, drew to Fortuna Sittard, beat Excelsior, Go Ahead Eagles, AZ, Den Haag, Utrecht, Vitesse, and FC Twente in quite a ridiculous run from January to the very start of May. A whole host of victories and just the 1 draw. We did lose on the final day of the season to PSV, but was it enough for PSV to topple us off the top of the table? No, it wasn't. We have lifted the Eredivisie back with Ajax using youth only. Now that feels like the end of a video in itself after the season they've had, but we're obviously going a hell of a lot further. It's Champions League we want to win, not just the Eredivisie, but it does feel good to get it back. It's been the first time since 2022, so a 6-year wait, but of course, as you can see from the finances, I think we've made a pretty ridiculous squad. £100 million in transfer budget, £2 million in wage budget. Now this could be picked up on Patreon and you could spend all of this money. Now this save is available on Patreon as well as the tactics, and a massive thank you to the legends running down on screen right now. You can use this save and this could genuinely be one of the most fun saves you can pick up on. You've got some unbelievable wonder kids here, and you know what? A whole host of money. You don't have to stick to using just youth only like I am. You could go and blow all of the money on some of the best players in the world and make Ajax a dominating side. And the Patreon link is just down below. Can you beat me to a Champions League from this point, or are you going to pick it up from the very end of this rebuild and look to make an absolute domination? Probably by that point with £500 million as a transfer budget. But let's get into seeing what we actually did in the Champions League. Well, again, 24th place in the league phase. Not great, but we're through. And we're facing up against a Bayer Leverkusen side still managed by Xabi Alonso in 2028, as you can see by that ridiculously beautiful goal. We did go 1-0 down, but we brought it back to 1-1 here at home at the Johan Cruyff Arena. So we had to battle tooth and nail to get a victory here in Germany, and a fantastic free kick thickened things off by Nashi Unava before Nathan Teller whipped the ball in to Victor Boniface to make things 1-1 in 33 minutes. A free kick again from Nash Unava finding Ufan Batera, a Jarell Harto strike, a deflection, and it's 2-1. Tap Sober on the ball, finds Boniface, and a great run again from Teller. The other two link it up the different way round. Things went all the way to extra time, and we won the game thanks to an own goal from Alex Grimaldo. And that fired us all the way into the round of 16 of the Champions League, and it was another English side we were facing up against. This time it was Arsenal, and they won 1-0 away from home, and just a minor 4-0 at home, reserving us to 0 shots, 0 XG, and 37% possession. So even though we have won the Dutch Eredivisie, we are very far away from winning the Champions League. And not only did we just win the Dutch Eredivisie, we were looking to make it a domestic double as well. And within just 2 minutes, Brian Brobery scored in the final against Fortuna Sittard to make it 1-0. We are going to see again that wonder kid Sefer Karadegan come up with a all-important goal. Fortuna made it 1-1 in 31 minutes. It took all the way until the 92nd minute. He started the move off, Van Nistelrooy, and he finished it off to make Ajax Dutch Cup champions 2 years in a row. And what a first season this guy has had. He played 50 games, 13 goals. He's up to 17 finishing, 16 heading. He's only 5'7", 17 pace, 17 agility. I genuinely cannot think of a time I've ever had a wonder kid come through the academy better than this guy, and he is going to be the all-important thing in making us Champions League winners. Because without this guy, I genuinely believe we've got absolutely no hope in hell. So hopefully Sefer will stay at the club. He is tied down for another 2 years. If we can make that another couple on top, there is a chance we could keep him until we make him a Champions League winner. The squad is progressing incredibly well. In terms of other players that have come through, we do have Mamadou Cuedo, who is a centre-back / CDM. Donny Fer is another fantastic striker, which sadly just isn't going to get a look in. He could even be better. He's got 15 finishing, 12 composure, great determination, 5'10". We really could sell Brian Brobery and go forward with Donny Fer and Kera Sefragan. Mike van der Gaag is still here. Luke Brouwer is fantastic still. Antonio Cunha as a winger. Hugo Jacobs is here. Caragos. We've got Eric Vlack, we've got Marco Antic, and I mean, these are all fake players. We've still got Jarell Harto, still got Lucas Yetten, who's progressing so well. Ryan Bundia, Sky Vink hasn't even had a look in, and I don't think he will anymore either because of Sefer Karagan and Donny Fer. And we've still got the legend that is Brian Brobery. In terms of our best players at the club, it's Jarell Harto, Kenneth Taylor, Ethan Patera, Nashi Unova, David Wrench, Brian Brobery, all the way down here now because, of course, we decided we were going to try and make Sefer our starting striker. He only started 7 games and got 46 off the bench, but I've got a feeling we are going to try and develop Brian Brobery into a winger and have him still in the squad because he is going to be pivotal to us also getting a Champions League victory. In terms of outgoings, I don't think we've sold anyone of note in quite some time. We haven't, which is good. We're just looking great, and I genuinely think we are now at a point where just progressing this club more and more, giving these wonder kids more and more game time. That Champions League is only a matter of a few years away. Well, now that we have won the Eredivisie, we're going to be concentrating a lot less on that and pretty much just showing you the table and the results. And this is the tactic and team we are now using for our push to the Champions League. We've moved away from the inverted wingbacks and fullbacks and gone with a standard 4-3-3. We mean business. Gougier, Wrench, Patera, Harto with Tommy Stepford in goal. Sylvinho Voss and Nistelrooy in central midfield with Kenneth Taylor. With Brian Brobery out on the right, Nashi Unova up on the left, and of course Sefer Karagan up front. Let's see what we can do now going forward. Well, maybe we should go back to doing the schedules because we've not won the Eredivisie. I thought this was going to be the point where we absolutely run away and dominate, but in fact we come third. To be fair, level on points with PSV and just 2 points away from finals, and it shows the Eredivisie really is progressing as a league. It is marked down here in the competition reputation as the 6th best league, and I mean, jumped up to 5th at one point ahead of the, I'm guessing, League 1. So, you know what? A top league. And anyone that says it's a Farmers League, it's wrong. This three-way competition is so enjoyable on Football Manager. And I've loved every single minute of actually simulating through this save and seeing if we can build a team that's good enough to compete at the top flight of the Eredivisie the whole time. But this season, just 3rd. And winning the Dutch Cup, it was just the 2nd round. We got absolutely battered by Helmond Sport. I mean, great. We can't dominate Dutch football, it seems. And even then, with the league phase, the Champions League was still down in 23rd place, 1 place up from 24th. But we got knocked out in the knockout playoff round by eventual winners Liverpool, this time losing 4-2. Putting up a little bit more of a fight, but a 4-0 loss at Anfield isn't great. And as you can tell, we are now going to start flying through the seasons as we look to speed things up and see if we can complete for a Champions League. So anyone that did think they were going to get a guess from winning the Champions League by looking at the time of the video, well, you've been done, because now we're going quick fire mode. Season 5 is done. Let's check out Season 6. Well, I don't quite understand how this has happened, but the Dutch League, for some reason, has lost UEFA coefficient. We had to go into a qualifying round and we lost to AEK. which means we got knocked down into the Europa League. And well, yes, we absolutely smashed through the league phase, finishing in 4th. But there was still some massive teams here. United, Newcastle, Galatasaray, Sevilla were here, Atalanta, Napoli. I can't believe this. For some reason, the league's got worse. Hopefully, we can try win the Europa League because, I mean, it's a European competition. It's not the one we want, but it would be great to tick off. And well, of course, in the round of 16, we got drawn possibly one of the most difficult games against Sevilla, but we showed our quality with a 3-1 victory in aggregate. And in the quarterfinals, drawing up against the Geordie Giants, Newcastle. And thank you for signing Andre Onana because we managed to beat them in penalties, and Onana didn't save a single one. Top work, Newcastle. You've taken away United's failure of a goalkeeper, and we've got into the semi-finals, which is where we then faced up against Napoli, and we are going to show what a club we are turning into. Rayan Bundia found Gabriel Missenhoy in the box to make it 1-0. And we are going to grab a second. Sefra Cadigan finding a ball up wide to Nashi Univar, and Kenneth Taylor was there to make it 2-0 on the stroke of half-time. Sefra causing absolute issues yet again. Yeton finds Kenneth Taylor. It's 3-0 in 54 minutes. Remember, this is European Giants Napoli. We are absolutely dispatching on Sefra Cadigan there at the back stick for 4-0. And Forbes finds Ciro Harto to find Sylvania Voss to find Jaden Bannell to finish it off at 5-0. We are going to straight up ignore the nearly absolute catastrophic downfall in the second leg. We certainly didn't lose 4-1 and then lose 6-4 in aggregate. Let's get into the final, where again we were going to show what a fantastic club we had going into. Nashi Univar found Gabriel Missenhoy to make it 1-0 in just 4 minutes. Rayan Bundia then whipped a ball in, and Ciro Harto was there to make it 2-0 in just 12 minutes. Rayan Bundia on the ball yet again found Christian Jusier to find Missenhoy to find Bundia again to make it 3-0. The Wonder Kids are linking up, and we are playing some beautiful Ajax football. 4-0 at the front post from that man, Kenneth Taylor, and that was all of our goals in this game. It was just up to now Galatasaray trying to make a comeback. 1 goal back from Varanosevic in the 53rd minute, but luckily that was their only goal, and that really gave us a little bit of a scare because the next goal was the 84th, and that was game done. Ajax were now champions of the Europa League, so we have ticked off another massive trophy. The Johan Cruyff Schaal, the Dutch Cup, the Eredivisie, and now the Europa League final. I doubt we'll get down to the Europa Conference League, but the 5th one is the interesting one. The Champions League is what we want. But have we returned back to the top of Dutch football? No. No, we haven't. Ever since we won it, it's been something we've not really been concentrating on. That's what I'm going to tell myself about. We are only after the Champions League now. That's why we just gave it all in the Europa League. Obviously, you can see here as well in the Dutch Cup, we were third rounded by Almere. Things aren't going well, but you can see at the bottom, there is a certain man that is absolutely smashing it. His name is Sefra Cadigan. We have got him here till 2033. He does want to leave to go to a better squad, and that's because he's got 17 dribbling, 18 finishing, 17 heading, 16 off the ball, 16 decisions, ridiculous physicals. I genuinely wish I had the editor enabled so I could see this guy's actual potential ability. He genuinely is an absolute superstar. 30 goals in 53 games at 18 years of age. 4 caps for Turkey already. What an absolute legend. And he could become a club legend as well. In terms of potential, anyone else? Serendinio Fur, I think, is another new striker. We've got 2 Furs because Donny Fur is here as well. He played 26 games off the bench and was great. Mamadou Kudau became a starting centre-back for us. He is 18 years of age, played 53 games this season. Great heading, marking, tackling, determination, bravery and jumping reach. He is progressing very nicely as well. Luke Brouwer played 15 off the bench. Eric Vlack, 37 off the bench as a central defensive midfielder. Again, another player that's come through the academy, developing very, very nicely. We are getting a lot of players come up, and again, every single season, just asking the board to continuously improve youth recruitment, youth facilities, training facilities, everything we can to just make it an absolute dynasty and have the facilities as good as possible. As mentioned, this could potentially get up to £300 million in transfer budget. It's now 172 million. And if we did use this wonderful little slider here, we can get it all the way up to £219 million. When you pick this up on Patreon, you're going to have some serious fun. Let's get in to, I think, season 7. And what it is worth me just quickly mentioning, we have sold a couple of people over the last couple of seasons. Devon Wrench has left to Bayern Munich. He left for about £32 million. And Ethan Patera also left to Barcelona. This was 2 seasons ago now, but that is it in terms of outgoings. That has pretty much happened since the very start, other than selling everyone that was not here at the club. So 2 big sales, hence why Kudia come into the team last season, and we'll see a lot more wonder kids come through in defence. But how did we get on in the league this season? Did we finally manage to get back our Eredivisie? Yes, we did. 83 points, a point clear of PSV. And it was that man, Lassina Traore, actually, at PSV, who did come through the Ajax Academy, who tried to make it, so he didn't win it. But you can stay away, Mr. Lassina. We've done bits. Sephra in at second place, 15 goals. We do get that title back to us, which is simply fantastic. Do we make it a Dutch double? Of course we did. It was a 3-1 victory, this time against Feyenoord. They have started to really fall off since, obviously, the Arne Slot revolution. Things have gone a little bit downhill. They have got big Shaquille Van Persie up front, but we've got a lot more wonder kids, and especially that man, Sephra Karaglan, Brian Broby, and Gabriel Missenhoyer, convincing 3-1 victory. So it was all down to the Champions League. We managed to actually qualify for it this time. In the league phase, we come 20th. So if you think about it, 24th, 24th, 23rd, 20th. We are making gains. And in the knockout playoff round, we were facing up against Arsenal, who have been a very difficult side for us to break down in previous seasons. Well, Brian Broby scored in just 13 minutes to make it 1-0. Arsenal then helped our case by getting a red card, so Silvinho Voss found Rayan Bundia to find Sefa in the box to make it 2-0. Arsenal are going to grab a goal back thanks to a German who has won a Champions League before. It is, of course, Kai Havertz to make it 2-1 in the 82nd minute, but we retained our 2-goal advantage. Forbes down the right-hand side beat his man, drove into the box, a fantastic magical run, and a 3-1 victory. And away from home at the Emirates, it was just Ethan Nwaneri, Arsenal's very own superstar wonder kid, to grab just 1 goal, but Arsenal did lose 3-2 in aggregate to the mighty Ajax, and we were through to the round of 16, where we faced up against Real Madrid, and their team's just an absolute joke. Jude Bellingham, Charles Pena, Matthias Tell, Vinicius Jr., Florian Wirtz was there. I mean, what are you meant to do against that? We've got to beat that at some point. The second leg was much closer away from home, but genuinely, they are just way too good. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to win the Champions League. I'm pinning all my hopes on Sefa. We've got till 2033. He is refusing to sign a brand new contract as he is way too good. So we realistically got 2 years left to win a Champions League, and Sefa has to be the man to get us there. So let's see in his penultimate season, can he get us that Champions League trophy? It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. Round of 16, PSG. We just seem to be getting the very good teams. I would say 0-0 at home. But we're facing up against the best teams so early on. I feel like we're actually a semi-final team, really. We've faced up against Real Madrid. We've faced up against PSG. We've faced up against Liverpool. We've beat likes of Arsenal, Bayer Leverkusen. We've won the Europa League. But we seem to be getting the big teams so early on. I mean, this one, we were 2-0 up after 20 minutes, but just couldn't hold on. And eventually, the likes of Mbappe, Zaire Emery, Jamal Musiala, they've got Rodrigo, Assam Wadrago. I mean, this is going to be ridiculous. We've pretty much got next season, or it's going to be like another 10 years to see if we get a ridiculous wonder kid strikers. If we don't win it next season, we might have to do like a second part or something of this, because this might be the longest video ever otherwise. In terms of the rest of things, we smashed the league again. We have now won it back-to-back seasons, which is good. We didn't win the Dutch Cup, but I really don't care. We did go running up in the Johan Cruyff Skull. Sephra Karaglan is just an absolute joke. I mean, he is now world class. He has got to be sitting at like 160, 170 in terms of his like current ability. Again, there's no way for me to check this. I am interested to see if he's getting any sort of like Ballon d'Or, you know, sort of recommendation. I don't know how you see that. Is it like Golden Ball Award or something like that? Yeah, World Golden Ball. He's not on this at all. Was he on like the next gen version? Is he the next gen? He has won the next gen twice. Yeah, fair enough. He's pretty good, isn't he? I'm not really surprised by that at all. Under 21 Footballer of the Year. He's not won that yet, so he could still go ahead and win that one. World Player of the Year. No, that's the rest of the boys. And World Team of the Year. He's not quite in that one yet. But he has won the Next Gen a couple of times, which is pretty cool. We've got our very own absolute superstar. Absolutely buzzing we've got him. It's just, this is do or die. This is it. This season, or it's not happening in this video. Well, of course, we smashed through the Eredivisie yet again with Sefer Callaghan and Brian Broby leading the top goal scorers chart, with Nashi Univar in third place as well. And the team we are doing this with is incredibly strong. But this is it. This is the team that could hopefully make us Champions League winners. Tommy Stepford in goal has progressed a whole bunch into a very good level keeper. Swingjusen as a right back has developed through the academy. Fantastic. With Jetten at left back. Baker and Cuedo as our two centre backs, with Silvino Voss and Kenneth Taylor in DM. Brian Broby at right wing. Nashi Univar at left wing. Gabriel Missenhoy in cam, with Sefer Callaghan up front. It is do or die. This is the team we have got. We are sending it. Do we win the Champions League? With the league phase, we done pretty good this season, sitting in 14th place. 8 wins, well, 8 games, 4 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses against Chelsea, Arsenal, and Juve, but all very tight games. It does mean, though, we are back into the knockout playoff round. We will join up against our Dutch counterparts, PSV, and it was a 5-2 victory on aggregate. We just battered them in the league, so I wasn't really too worried about this one. And finally, a decent tie. And well, we were giving another nice one by getting OGC Nice, of course. A 5-3 victory, a fantastic one as well, and finally through into the quarterfinals. Now, I think this is about where we are as a club. As mentioned, we've faced up against PSG and Real Madrid in the last couple of years, and in the round of 16. I feel like that's unfair. We've had quite nice runs this time. Is the quarterfinal going to be as far as it goes? We were facing up against Liverpool team that finally in 2033 were managed by ex-club legend Xabi Alonso, and Kenneth Taylor got us off to a great start at Anfield, making us 1-0 leaders before Trent Alexander-Arnold found Dominic Szoboszlai to make things 1-1 at Anfield. So it was back to the Johan Cruyff Arena to see if we could beat Liverpool and book a place in the semi-finals. And we had quite a good striker. An unreal finish there from Sefer to make us 1-0 leaders. And he's going to grab a second as well. A great ball over the top. Broby finds him there. And it's 2-0. And we're going to grab a third and book our spot in the semi-finals of the Champions League, thanks to a goal from Nashi Univar. The players that have started this save with us are now becoming legends, and we have booked a spot in the semi-finals just like Ten Hag did with Ajax. Could we make that next step and reach the final? Well, just like Ten Hag, it is an English team in the semi-final, but this time for us it's Chelsea. And what an awful mistake that is. And their wonder-kid striker, Darren Long, makes it 1-0 in 40 minutes. But away from home at Stamford Bridge, we're going to make things 1-1 and give us a serious fighting chance back at the Johan Cruyff Arena, where Chelsea were going to show early signs of dominance thanks to a goal from Carl Johnson, making it 1-0 in the 57th minute. Just 3 minutes later, though, we bounced back. Nashi Univar whips it in, and Brian Broby is there to make it 1-1. And of course, this story is not going to end in heartbreak. Gabriel Missenhoy finds a great ball through to Sefer to make it 2-1. Or is it going to end in heartbreak? Daniels on the ball to the right-hand side, finds Enzo in the middle, cuts it back, deflections everywhere. Rojas scores. And we're going to penalties. Rayan Bundia scores. Chelsea step up. And the goal scorer Rojas misses. Nashi Univar steps up. It's a 2-0 lead. And all the pressure is on Chelsea. Good Johnson scores. Kenneth Taylor scores. And Chelsea with Oscar Gluck miss. And Ajax are going through to a Champions League final. And in what is set to be a Champions League final to finish this video, I am absolutely buzzing with how things have gone, even after Kasuna makes it 1-0, because we've got this man, Sefer Callaghan, who's going to be our knight in shining armour. In his last ever game for the club, he makes it 1-1 in a Champions League final. And when you think it couldn't get better, Brian Broby makes it 2-1 in a Champions League final. But Newcastle were not going to lay down there. Loran finds Amar Delic to find Loran, and Jimmy Garner finds Pereira to make it 2-2. And if it wasn't written in the stars that in this 64th minute, that man in his final game for the club, Sefa Callaghan, scores for Ajax and makes Ajax Champions League winners using only the youth academy. This has been such a fun save and such an eye-opener into how well Wonder Kids can develop if you just give them playing time. If you look through this team, someone like Sefa, he could just be in your youth academy. I have played him for 186 games, and I might have one of the best strikers to ever grace the earth of football. We have the likes of Silvinho Vos, who sometimes doesn't develop into a fantastic player. He's now a full-cap Dutch midfielder with fantastic stats overall. We have got the likes of Lucas Yetten, a South African left-back who has become one of the best left-sided defenders in world football. We've got Tommy Stepford in goal, who I've never seen progress at all, is now a genuinely top tier goalkeeping talent and is absolutely fantastic and someone I'm genuinely going to look at. But I've been massively opened in my eyes into how Wonder Kids can develop and how doing a sort of youth only save can be one of the most fun things in the world. If you want to see me do like a youth to gold sort of series where I just do this and more of like a Tom Femi, Omega Lukey style videos where we do like a 6-7 part series, let me know down in the comments down below, because I am working on something already to be of that sort of level quality for the end of June, which you guys are going to absolutely love. But if you want to see me do a youth to gold in August or the end of July, let me know down below as we head into the summer. This year has been absolutely mental. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed this video as we turn Ajax into the best team in Netherlands yet again and to Champions League winners using only the youth academy. Make sure you subscribe to the Kempi army and I'll speak to you next time.